Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss the intellectual property laws. First, what is intellectual property? It is a broad categorical description of a set of intangible assets that are owned by a company or individual. It is legally protected from outside use or implementation without consent. So, intangible assets owned by a company or individual daw. So, kunwari, literary works, logos, so yan yung intellectual property, which we are gonna tackle further later. So what are the types of intellectual property? Next slide, please. Types of intellectual property include patents, utility models, and industrial designs. Tulad ng mga ginagawa nating thesis ngayon, pwede natin yun i-apply for intellectual property para ma-protect siya nun. Next is trademarks and service marks, copyright, trade secrets, and geographical indications. So lahat to mamaya matatakil natin pa ng mas malalim. Okay, sige. Bago natin i-tackle ang IP laws, ano ba muna ang mga cases na included or nagkakaroon ng issue? Isang issue sa intellectual property ay yung kung naalala nyo or kung alam nyo yung sa Itbulaga. 'Di ba nung parang last year 2023, nagkaroon nung umalis yung TVJ sa tape or sa GMA, lumipat sila ng Channel 5. Dahil nagkaroon doon ng issue yung sa pangalan ng Itbulaga. Yung parang nag-file ng kaso ng complaint yung TVJ sa tape kasi nung umalis sila ng Itbulaga, parang ng GMA, parang ginagamit pa rin nung tape or nung GMA yung pangalan na Itbulaga. Pati yung theme song nila, yung mula Batanes hanggang Ulo, yun. Ginagamit pa rin nila. So, nag-file ng complaint yung TVJ versus sa Tape Incorporated. Pero, sa kabutihang palad, dahil yung TVJ ang nagawa, particularly si Joey De Leon, yung nagawa nung Itbulaga na name, tapos sila rin yung nag-compose nung Itbulaga theme song, nanalo sila laban dun sa tape. So ngayon, sila na ulit yung nakakagamit nung pangalan ng Itbulaga sa TV5 tsaka yung Itbulaga theme song nila. Next slide, please. Yun, yung kanina, trademark issue yun. Kasi yung trademark, words, group of words, signs, symbols, logos, na kung saan nagkakaroon ng identity yung mga brands. Tulad nga nung Itbulaga. Pero this time naman, copyright issue naman yung pag-uusapan natin. Kung naaalala nyo to, parang last year lang ata ito. Ito. Alam nyo ba yung kanta na yan? Siguro hindi. Pero, eto, alam nyo ba to?
Kung magkasama na tayo, naiinis ako't nasisira ang araw ko.
Yeah, siguro alam nyo yan. So, yun, nagkaroon ng copyright issue doon, copyright infringement issue, ibig sabihin may ginaya. Dahil itong si Shaira Moro, Pilipina yan. Shaira Moro, yung gumawa ng Selos, ay kinasuhan ni Lenka. Lenka na may gawa nung Trouble is a Friend, yung una kong pinarinig sa inyo. Para kasing ginaya yung melody nung original music na Trouble is a Friend. Tapos parang ginawa lang ni Shaira Moro na parang budots na kanta. So yun, dun lang nagkaiba pero yung melody ginaya. Pero kaya makikita natin siya kung ise-search niyo sa YouTube ngayon, makikita na natin siya sa YouTube yung Selos ay dahil nagkaroon ng settlement between Shaira's team and Lenka's team. Tapos binigyan ng proper credit si Lenka sa Selos. So kung makikita niyo ulit doon sa description sa YouTube, na meron ng original authors or composers, nakalagay na doon yung pangalan ni Lenka. So ayun, okay na siya, naka-post na ulit. Then, next, Matatanong siguro niyo, bakit next slide please, bakit yung sa TikTok nagagamit nung mga TikTokers yung mga music, 'di ba? Kahit kayo 'pag kayo naggagawa ng mga TikTok videos, bakit puwede naman nating gamitin gano'n din sa, Facebook Reels? Ay, reels ba ang tawag? Sa Instagram, puwede naman tayong gumamit. Iyon ay dahil nagkaroon ng licensing agreements with artists and record labels and yung mga, platforms na 'to tulad ng TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, nagkaroon ng licensing agreements para magamit nung mga users ng platforms na yon yung mga music. Ayun, nagkaroon sila ng IP licensing agreement. Pero sabi dito sa next paragraph, provided you select music directly from TikTok's inbuilt library. So hindi ka puwedeng maglalagay ng sarili mong music sa video mo na gamit yung mga music na yon. Kaya 'di ba minsan sa YouTube nakikita natin parang namu-mute yung mga videos, yun ay dahil sa copyright. So yun, next slide please. Yun yung mga examples ng copyright trademark issues. So ano ba yung batas na poprotekta sa intellectual property dito sa Pilipinas? Na ano, nung nakaraan pa marami ng, mga republic acts tsaka mga presidential decrees ang nagpo-protect sa intellectual property. Tulad na nga lang nito yung RA 165, RA 166, and yung Presidential Decree number 49. Yung RA 165, iyan iyan ang nung wala pang RA 8293, kasi ang RA 8293 is yung pinaka-latest na natin, yan yung ginagamit ngayon. RA 165 is the patent law. So, ano, specific siya na patent law. RA 166 is the trademark laws. Magkahiwalay sila. And yung Presidential Decree number 49, Decree in the Protection of Intellectual Property. So, itong tatlo na to, ngayon wala na sila, pinagsama na sila doon sa RA 8293, which is the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines. It is an act prescribing the Intellectual Property Code and establishing the Intellectual Property Office, providing for its powers and functions and for other purposes. So, iyan lang naman. Pinakita dito yung mga naging laws on intellectual property. Pero ang ginagamit na lang natin ngayon ay itong RA 8293. Kaya ayan yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon. So, next slide please. Ito. Naulit lang pala yung sinabi ko, Republic Act number 8293, or ito yung pag-establish ng Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, or yung IPOPHIL. So, next slide please. Ang Republic Act number 8293 ay merong 5 parts and 241 sections. So, napakarami niyan. Kasi, di ba kanina yung mga laws, isa-isa pa lang sila. May patent law, trademark law, copyright law. Ngayon, sinama na siya dyan. Part 1 natin is the establishment of the Intellectual Property Office. Part 2 natin yung law on patents. So, yan na siya, kasama na siya. Part 3 is the law on trademarks, service marks, and trade names. And part 4, the law on copyright. And part 5, final provisions. So, next slide please. Part 1 muna tayo sa Intellectual Property Office. So, next slide. Nilist namin dito yung lahat ng sections. Pero ang mga itatakil lang namin ay yung sa tingin naming importante. So dito sa part 1, next slide please. May 19 sections 'yan. Pero next slide please again. Ang importante lang diyan, section 1, discuss natin yung title. Dito sinabi that this act shall be known as the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines. Then sa section 2, dito naman sinabi yung Declaration of State Policy, kung saan parang sinasabi lang dito na pinapahalagahan ng bansang Pilipinas yung mga gawang sariling atin, yung mga gawa ng mga Pilipino. So sabi diyan, it shall protect and secure the exclusive rights of scientists, inventors, artists, and other gifted citizens to their intellectual property and creations. So yun. Yun yung pinaka parang objective or goal ng batas na 'to. Next, Section 5, skip na tayo dun sa iba kasi ito importante 'to. What are the functions of the Intellectual Property Office? Sila yung parang nagpapatupad kasi sila yung namamahala nung, batas na 'to. So, Intellectual Property Office, sinasabi lang naman diyan na sila yung nag-e-examine ng applications, registrations, tapos sila rin yung kung na kung na-approve nila yung applications and registrations ng intellectual property, sila yung nagpo-promote ng patent infos as a tool for technology development. Then publish regularly sa kanilang publication, yung gazette, yung patents, marks, utility models, and industrial designs na in-issue at in-approve nila kasi para para meron silang parang compilation ah, ng mga ng mga technology or yung kung anong intellectual property na gawang Pilipinas. So yun, section 5.2 naman, wait lang, 5.2, sinasabi lang dito na yung office, yung IPO shall have custody of all records, books, drawings, specifications, documents, and other papers and things relating to intellectual property rights. So yun, pag nag-apply ka, may copy sila nun, tas sila yung may karapatan din dun sa mga records na yun. Next, the Bureau of Patents, ito sinasabi lang dito na meron sa IPO, meron ding Bureau of Patents. Sila naman yung namamahala sa mga patent application, search and examination, registration of utility models, conduct studies and researches. Sila yung nagtitingin kung meron na bang ganitong naaprubahan dati. So, sila yung doon sa patents. Na ano din natin 'to na madi-discuss pa din mamaya sa mga ibang sa part 2 I think, yun. Next, the Bureau of next slide please. Section 8 yun. Section 9 naman, the Bureau of Trademarks. Yung IPO, meron ding Bureau of Trademarks. So, kung yung kanina sa patents, ito namang bureau na to sa trademark, search and examination of applications, conduct studies. Ganun lang yung mga ginagawa nila. Then next, the Bureau of Legal Affairs. So, ito kasi 'di ba, dahil pinoprotektahan nga nila. So, kung may gumamit nung or may gumaya sa isang intellectual property, sila yung nagha-handle kasi legal affairs, parang sila yung lalaban against dun sa gumaya sa naaprubahan nilang ah, intellectual property. So, yun, the Bureau of Legal Affairs. Then, next, part 2 na tayo sa the law on patents.
So, good evening. For part 2, the law of patents, same lang din sa yung presentation, same lang din sa kanina. Under ng chapter 1 is yung section 20, which is yung definition of terms used in the law of patents. Then sa chapter 2 is yung patentability. Next slide. So, section 21, patentable inventions. Under this Republic Act, an invention is considered patentable if it is new, involves an inventive step, and is industrially applicable. Patentable inventions may include products such as machines, devices, articles of manufacture, compositions of matter, and etc. Example lang dito is yung, ayan, sa figure 1 is yung drone, then sa figure 2 is yung design ng iPhone, which is produced by Apple. Next slide. Then, under ng section 22, non-patentable inventions. So, ano nga ba yung kino-consider na non-patentable? These are certain categories are excluded from patent protection under section 22, includes discoveries of natural laws or scientific theories, abstract ideas, methods for mental acts or business, systems without technical means, computer program, and etc. Then para naman sa Section 23 novelty, it is deemed novel if it does not form part of a prior art. Parang ibig sabihin, bago siya. Hindi siya galing sa parang, hindi siya pirata, parang bago talaga siya sa ano ng market or ng mundo. Yun. Yung prior art encompasses all information made available to the public globally before the filing or priority date of the patent application. Next. Then para sa chapter 3, right to patent. Then as well as yung sa chapter 4, yung patent application. Next slide. Under ng chapter 3, yung section 28, right to patent. The right to patent belongs to the inventor, the heirs, or assigns. When two or more individuals jointly create an invention, they share the right to the patent jointly. Ibig sabihin, kahit ilan pa kayong gumawa, pwede kayong magsama. I mean, pwede kayong maging partners or as a group na may-ari nung nagawa nyo. Then, under section 29, first to file rule. Ibig sabihin lang yan, kung sino yung maunang mag-patent, siya yung may rights para dun sa invention na yun or yung sa item na yun. Next slide. Then para naman sa chapter 4, the application. Under siya ng section 32. This section outlines the requirements for filing a patent application. The application must be in Filipino or English and includes, first is yung request for the grant of patent, description of the invention, drawings necessary for understanding the invention, one or more claims, tsaka abstract. Then, under section 34, the request typically involves the formal request for a patent grant. This would be part of the overall application process outlined in section 32. Then para naman sa section 36, the claims. This section specifies that the patent application must contain one or more claims that define the matter for which protection is sought. Each claim must be clear and concise and supported by the description provided in the application. Next slide. Then, under naman ng chapter 5, procedure for grant of patent. Ayun, nakalagay lang dyan yung mga section, then nakabold yung important. Next slide. Discuss lang natin yung important. Sa section 40, filing date requirements. Filing date of patent application shall be the date of receipt by the office of at least the following elements. First is an express or implicit indication that a Philippine patent is sought. B, information identifying the applicant, and C, the description of the invention and one or more claims in Filipino or English. Then under section 44, publication of the patent application. The patent application is published in the IPO Gazette 18 months after the filing or prior date, allowing public inspection unless the Director General with the Secretary's approval restricts publication due to the national security concerns. Ibig sabihin, yung publication ng patent pwede siyang ma-hold if may security concerns siya. Then under section 46, rights conferred by a patent application after publication. Ibig sabihin lang yan, once ma-publicate ang isang patent, meron kang rights para doon. The applicant shall have all the rights of a patentee under Section 76 against any person who, without his authorization, exercise any of the rights conferred under Section 71 of this Act in relation to the invention claimed in a published patent application. So bakit ginagawa to? Ginagawa to para hindi manakaw o angkinin yung ginawa mong product para hindi nagkakaroon ng panggagaya. Next slide. Now, para sa Chapter 5, Procedure for Grant of Patent. Ay yung mga sections under it. Next slide. So, under Section 50, Grant of Patent, this section outlines the process for granting a patent. A patent is issued once the application meets all the requirements, including novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. The grant confers exclusive rights to the patentee, allowing them to exclude others from making, using, or selling the invention during its term. Then, under Section 54, Term of Patent. The term of patent is set at 20 years from filing date of the application. This duration provides protection for the inventor's rights while encouraging innovation and public disclosure. So, parang ang sinasabi lang dito, mabibigyan ka ng grant ng 20 years after filing, pagtapos mo mag-file ng patent. Kasi once matapos yon, pwede na siyang may public rights na para kunin ng iba. Parang pwede na siyang i-adapt. Then under Section 56, Surrender of Patent, a patentee may voluntarily surrender their patent by filing a written request with the Intellectual Property Office. Once accepted, the surrender terminates all rights associated with the patent. Then, Section 59, Changes in Patents. This section allows for amendments or corrections to patents to address errors or omissions. Changes must not affect the scope of protection granted by the original patent and requires approval from the Intellectual Property Office. Then under ng Chapter 6, Cancellation of Patents and Substitution of Patentee. Next slide. So under ng Section 61, Cancellation of Patent, any interested person can petition to cancel a patent or specific claims upon payment of a fee based on grounds that the invention lacks novelty, lacks sufficient disclosure, or is contrary to public order or morality, with cancellation limited to the specific claims in question. Then Section 65, Cancellation of the Patent, outlines that if a patent cancellation case is proven, the patent or specific claims may be cancelled. However, if amendment meets the Act's requirements, the patent can be maintained upon payment of the new patent printing fee. Otherwise, it will be revoked. Then under Section 69, Publication of the Court Order. The court shall furnish the office a copy of the order or decision referred to in Section 67 and 68, which shall be published in the IPO Gazette within 3 months from the date such order or decision became final and executory, and shall be recorded in the register of the office. Next.
For part 2, Chapter 8, Rights of Patentees and Infringements of Patents. Chapter 8 meron itong 14 sections mula section 71 to 84. Next slide. Slide please. For section 76, civil action for infringement. This section outlines the legal remedies available to a patentee in case of patent infringement, including seeking damages and injunction against violators. Sample nito, kung ikaw ay nakabento ng isang makina at may patent ito, tapos ginaya ito ng ibang kumpanya nang hindi ka binibigyan ng bayad o hindi ka kinakausap, maaari kang magsampa ng kaso. For Section 77, infringement action by a foreign national. Foreign patent holders can sue for infringement in the Philippines, even without a local business. This protects their patent rights. Kung may dayuhang inventor o kumpanya mula sa ibang bansa, may patent na kilala dito sa Pilipinas, at may ibang tao or kumpanya na lumabag sa patent nila, pwede nila itong kasuhan at hindi sila rehistrado bilang negosyo dito sa Pilipinas. For Section 78, process patents, burden of proof. If a patented process makes a product and someone else's product looks identical, but the process is unknown, the law assumes infringement. The burden shifts to them to prove a different process while the court protects their secrets. Example nito, may patented kang proseso sa paggawa ng isang special lotion. Tapos may ibang kumpanya na nagbebenta ng lotion na saktong kapareho ng sa inyo. Hindi mo malaman kung paano nila ito ginawa. Isipin ng court na ginamit nila ang iyong proseso, maliban na lang kung mapapatunayan nila na may sarili silang paraan. Next slide. For Section 79, limitation of action for damages. No damages can be recovered for acts of infringement committed for more than 4 years before the institution of the action for infringement. You can claim damages for patent infringement more than 4 years before filing a suit. For Section 80, damages requirement of notice. This section establishes that a patent is presumed valid unless proven otherwise. Next slide, please. For Chapter 8, rights of for Chapter 9, voluntary licensing, meron itong 8 sections, tas mula Section 85 to 92. Next slide, please. Section 85, voluntary license contract. This section governs the registration and regulation of voluntary licensing agreements to ensure compliance with public policy. Kung may kasunduan na sa pagitan ng dalawang panig, halimbawa, isang kumpanya ang nagbigay ng pahintulot sa iba na gamitin ng kanilang technology or invention, ito ay dapat sumunod sa mga regulation para matiyak na makatarungan ito para sa parehong panig. Hindi ito nakakasira sa competition at tumutulong ito sa pagpapalaganap ng technology, hindi sa pang-aabuso ng karapatang intellectual. Section 89, rights of licensor. Unless the technology transfer agreement says otherwise, the licensor can still grant licenses to other and use the technology themselves, even after granting a license to someone else. Kung wala silang particular na pagkasunduan na kontrata na nagsasabing ikaw lang yung may karapatan gumamit nito or natawag itong exclusive license, ang licensor ay malaya pa ring magbigay ng lisensya sa iba at gamitin ang technology o produkto para sa sariling nilang negosyo. Section 90, Rights of Licensee. The licensee has the right to use the technology covered by the agreement for as long as the agreement lasts. Next slide. For Chapter 10, Compulsory Licensing, meron itong 10 sections mula Section 93 hanggang Section 102. Next slide. Section 93, Grounds for Compulsory Licensing. This section lists conditions under which compulsory licenses may be issued, such as public interest or failure to work the patent. The government ay may kapangyarihang pumayag na gamitin ang isang intensyon na may patent kahit walang pahintulot na may-ari. Kung ito ay para sa kapakanan ng publiko kapag ang patent ay hindi ginagamit ng tama o nang-aayon sa batas. Section 94. Period for filing a petition for compulsory license. You must wait to file for a compulsory license due to undersupply. Until 4 years after filing or 3 years after the patent grant, whichever is later. For other reasons, you can apply anytime after the patent grant. Next slide. Section 98, Form and Consent of Petitions. To request a compulsory license, file a written verified petition with the required fee, include names or addresses, patent details, grounds for the license, facts supporting your claims, and what you're asking for. Next. For Chapter 11, Assignment and Transmission of Rights, meron itong 5 section, Section 103 to 107. Then sa Chapter 12 naman, Registration of Utility Models, meron 4 sections, Section 108 to 111. Next slide. Section 103, Transmission of Rights. Patents and inventions are protected like other properties. They can be sold, inherited, or licensed. Section 104, Assignment of Inventions. An invention's patent can be fully or partially sold. Partial sales create joint ownership. Sales can also be limited to specific areas. For Section 105, Form of Assignment. A patent assignment must be written, notarized, and certified by the notary. Next slide. For Chapter 12, Section 111, Prohibition against filing of parallel applications. An applicant may not file 2 applications for the same subject, one for utility model registration and the other for the grant of patent, whether simultaneously or consecutively. Di pwedeng mag-file ng application para sa parehong invention, para sa dalawang magkaibang uri ng protection ng sabay or magkakasunod. For example, kung ikaw ay may invention at nais mong protektahan ito, di ka pwedeng magsampa ng application para sa utility model registration at patent sa parehong invention kahit hindi sabay dahil ito ay bawal ayon sa batas. Next slide. For Chapter 13, Industrial Design, meron itong 9 sections mula Section 112 to 120. Next slide. Section 112, Definition of Industrial Design. The industrial design ay tumutukoy sa mga disenyo o anyo ng mga produkto tulad ng mga linya, kulay, or form na nagbibigay ng nagtatanging itsura sa produkto. Ang disenyo ay maaaring maging model or pattern para sa paggawa ng mga produkto. Section 118, the term of industrial design registration. This section explains the legal effect of canceling a patent. 5 taon ang tagal ng unang pagpaparehistro ng industrial design. And maaaring i-renew ito ng 2 beses pa. Bawat isa ay mayroong 5 years sa pamamagitan ng pagbabayad ng renewal fee. Ang bayad ay dapat gawin sa loob ng 12 months bago mag-expire. Pero may 6 na buwan na grace period kung hindi ito nabayaran agad, kasama ang karagdagang bayad. For Section 120, cancellation of design registration. This section ay nagsasaad kung paano at kailan maaaring i-cancel ang pagpaparehistro ng industrial design. Pati na rin ang mga dahilan kung bakit ito maaaring mangyari. Next.
For Part 3, the law on trademarks, service marks, and trade names. So, the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines or Republic Act 8293. Ito yung batas na nagre-regulate ng trademarks, service marks, at trade names dito sa bansa. And ang goal nito is protektahan yung rights ng mga businesses, consumers, at siguruhin na naiiwasan yung pamimeke or misuse ng intellectual property. At nagpo-promote din to ng fair competition at binibigyan ng legal protection yung mga tatak. Next slide. So, ano naman yung trademark? A trademark is any visible sign, pwedeng word, logo, design, or symbol na ginagamit para makilala yung product ng isang negosyo. Halimbawa, sa kilala nating fast food, yung logo ng Jollibee, and sa sapatos naman is yung Nike. Next slide. Ano naman yung service mark? Similar sa trademark, pero yung service mark ginagamit para kilalanin yung serbisyo ng isang company instead na produkto. Sa batas sa Pilipinas, pareho lang yung treatment ng trademarks at service marks. So, halimbawa, sa banking services, Metrobank. Sa telecom services naman, Smart. Next slide. Ano naman yung pinagkaiba ng trademark at business name? So, ang trademark, ginagamit siya para ma-identify yung produkto or serbisyo ng isang kumpanya. For example, yung Coca-Cola, tumutukoy ito sa mismong soft drink. And ang business name naman, ito yung legal name ng company na ginagamit sa mga official documents, transactions, and example nito is yung The Coca-Cola Company. So next. So nag-highlight lang kami ng ilang importanteng section. Next. So under section 123, registrability. Yung tatak daw is hindi pwedeng makapag-register if it contains immoral, deceptive, or scandalous content, or falsely suggests a link to people, living or dead, institutions, beliefs, or national symbols. includes the flag, national emblem, or other official insignia of the Philippines, or any imitation of them. Uses living person's name, portrait, or signature without consent, or that of a deceased Philippine president without the widow's consent. Is identical or confusingly similar to an existing registered or earlier filed mark for the same or closely related goods or services. It is similar to a translation or well-known mark, even if unregistered in the Philippines. Misleads the public about products' nature, quality, or origin. It's made up of generic, customary, or descriptive terms. It uses shapes required by the product's nature or function. Consists of color alone without shape or form. And lastly, violates public order or morality. Next. Under Section 124, so requirements of application. So, para daw makapag-register yung isang trademark or service mark, kailangan mag-submit ng applicant ng formal request for registration, name, address, and nationality or legal status if if company to, and an appointed representative if not based in the Philippines. The, applic- the applicant must submit a clear image of the mark as it will appear in use, a list of goods or services grouped by nice classification, a declaration of use in Philippine commerce or intent to use, signature of applicant or, or their representative. Lastly, payment of the official filing fee. Next. So ito po yung ibang sections. Next slide. Next. Under section 1.145, duration. So, ang trademark registration daw is valid for 10 years from the date of registration. And to keep it active, the registrant must file a declaration of actual use with proof or valid reason for non-use within 1 year after the 5th anniversary. So, failure to comply will result in removal of the mark from the register. Next. Next. So, under section 146 renewal, trademark trademark registration may be renewed every 10 years. So, by filing a renewal request and paying the fee. The request must include details like indication of renewal, name and address of registrant, registration number and filing date, representative's name and address, list of goods or services under nice classification, and lastly, signature of right holder or representative. Kailan daw tayo pwede mag-file? Within 6 months before the expiration or within 6-month grace period after expiration with extra fee. Next.
Section 147, Rights Conferred. Sinasabi dito na ang owner ng registered trademark ay may exclusive right na pigilan ng ibang parties na walang consent niya na gumamit sa trade ng identical or similar signs or para sa goods or services na identical or similar dun sa mga naka-register na trademark. Kung yung paggamit na yun ay magre-resulta sa likelihood of confusion. Section 148. Use of indications by third parties for purposes other than those for which the mark is used. Kahit may trademark ka, hindi mo pwedeng pigilan ng ibang tao na gamitin yung sarili nilang pangalan, address, or description ng goods or services nila. Basta ginamit lang nila ito for identification or information lang at hindi para iligaw ang public. Next slide, please. Section 149, Assignment and Transfer of Application and Registration. Ang application at registration ng trademark ay pwedeng i-assign or i-transfer with or without yung business na gumagamit ng trademark. Section 150, License Contracts. Sa mga license contract regarding trademarks, dapat siguraduhin na may control sa quality ng goods or services ng lisensyado ng nagbigay ng lisensya. Section 151, Cancellation. Pwedeng kanselahin ang registration ng trademark. Pwede mag-file ng petition for cancellation ng registration ng kahit sinong tao na naniniwalang masisira siya dahil sa registration. Next slide, please. Section 152, Non-use of a mark when excused. Tinutukoy ng section na ito ang mga situation kung kailan pwedeng hindi gamitin ng isang trademark. Pwedeng ma-excuse sa hindi paggamit kung dahil ito sa mga bagay na hindi control ng may-ari ng trademark, pero hindi kasama dito ang kakulangan sa pera. Section 153, Requirements of Petition. Sinasabi lang ng section na ito na ang petition para sa cancellation ay dapat na nasa parehong form tulad na nakasaad sa Section 134 at ang notice at hearing ay isasagawa ayon sa nakasaad sa Section 135. Section 154, Cancellation of Registration. Kung makita ng Bureau of Legal Affairs na may dahilan para sa cancellation, iuutos nito na kanselahin ng registration. Next slide, please. Section 155, Remedies. Tinutukoy ng section na ito ang infringement at ang mga pwedeng maging remedyo. Ang infringement ay nangyayari kapag ang isang tao ay gumagamit ng isang reproduction, imitation, or kopya ng isang registered trademark nang walang pahintulot ng may-ari, sa paraang malamang na magdulot ng kalituhan sa mga consumer. Section 156, Actions and Damages and Injunction for Infringement. Detalyado sa section na ito ang mga legal na aksyon, damages at injunction para sa infringement. Pwedeng bawiin ng owner ng isang registered trademark ang damages mula sa isang lumalabag. Pwedeng kasama sa damages ang mga tubo na maaaring nakuha ng nagrereklamo, ang tubo na nakuha ng nasasakdal or isang reasonable na porsyento ng total sales ng nasasakdal. Section 157, Power of Court to order infringing material destroyed. Pwedeng utusan ng korte na itapon or wasakin ang mga lumalabag na product nang walang bayad sa sinuman. Kasama sa pwedeng iutos na wasakin ang mga etiketa, karatula, at iba pa na nagtataglay ng lumalabag na trademark at ang mga kagamitan sa paggawa nito. Next slide. Section 158, Damages. Sa isang kaso ng infringement, hindi pwedeng mabawi ng owner ng registered trademark ang mga tubo or damages maliban kung ginawa ang mga gawaing yun nang may kaalaman na malamang na magdulot ng kalituhan ang imitasyon. Section 159, Limitations to actions for infringement. Naglalahad ng section na ito ng mga limitasyon sa mga remedyo para sa infringement. Walang effect ang isang registered trademark laban sa isang tao na in good faith ay gumagamit ng trademark bago ang filing date or priority date. Section 160, Rights of Foreign Corporations to Sue in Trademark Infringement. Ang kahit sinong foreign national na tao na pasok sa requirements ng Section 3 ng batas na ito at hindi nagnenegosyo sa Pilipinas, pwedeng magdala ng civil or administrative action para sa opposition. Cancellation, infringement, unfair competition, or false designation of origin and false description, kahit hindi siya licensed magnegosyo sa Pilipinas under existing laws. Next slide. Section 161, Unfair competition. Sa kahit anong action involving registered trademark, pwedeng i-determine ng korte ang right to registration, i-order ang cancellation ng isang registration at i-rectify ang register regarding sa registration ng kahit sinong party sa action. Section 162, Action for infringement. para makapag-file ng kaso ang isang foreign corporation tungkol sa infringement. May mga kailangan silang sundin kung wala silang business dito sa Pilipinas. Kadalasan, kailangan may agreement or batas na pumapayag sa kanila. Section 163, Infringement of Trademarks and Unfair Competition. Nililinaw dito na magkaibang trademark infringement at unfair competition. May unfair competition kapag ginaya ng isang tao ang isang mark para malito ang consumers. Section 164, False Designation of Origin. Tungkol naman ito sa maling paggamit ng mga indikasyon. Bawal maglagay ng maling information tungkol sa pinanggalingan ng isang produkto. Next slide, please. Section 165, Collective Marks. Ginagamit ito ng isang organisasyon o grupo. Kailangan may agreement na nagpapahintulot sa paggamit nito. Section 166, Protection of Collective Marks. Kung may mga pagbabago sa agreement tungkol sa paggamit ng collective mark, kailangan ipaalam sa director. Pwedeng ipakancel ang registration ng collective mark kung hindi sinusunod yung agreement. Section 167, Limitation on the right to file a petition for cancellation. Hindi pwedeng i-license ang collective mark. Section 168, Unfair competition, rights, regulation, and remedies. Mas malawak ang sakop ng unfair competition. Kasama rito ang pangopya ng produkto o business ng iba para mag-cause ng confusion sa mga consumer. Next slide. Section 169, False Designations of Origin. Bawal ang paggamit ng false information tungkol sa pinagmulan ng goods or kung anong mga katangian nito. Bawal magligaw or manlinlang tungkol sa origin of characteristics ng products or services. Hindi rin pwedeng i-import sa Pilipinas ang mga goods na minarkahan na lumabag sa section na ito. Section 170, Penalties. May criminal penalties para sa mga lumalabag sa rules against trademark infringement, unfair competition, at false advertising. Pwedeng makulong ng 2 hanggang 5 taon at pagmumultahin ng 50,000 to 200,000 pesos ang sinumang lalabag dito.
So, part 4, which is the law on copyright. So, meron tayong 4 na kilalang companies dito, which are Spotify, Facebook, Telegram, and YouTube. Lahat sila nag-share ng isang rule, which is ang copyright. Very common to kapag gumagawa tayo ng sarili nating kumpanya. So, ano nga bang copyright? I-discuss natin ito. So, part 4 is the law on copyright. Meron itong several chapters, more than 20 chapters. So, on chapter 1 is preliminary provisions. Section 171 is definitions. Chapter 2 is original works. Under section 172, which is literary and artistic works. Chapter 3 is derivative works. Under section 173 and 174, which are derivative works and published edition of work. So, chapter 4 is works not protected. Under naman nito ang section 175 and 176, which are the unprotected subject matter and works of the government. Chapter 5 is copyright or economic rights, which is section 177 for copyright or economic rights. So next is chapter 6, which is ownership of copyright. And section 178 ng isa sa napili namin i-highlight, which is rules on copyright ownership. Section 179, anonymous and pseudonymous works. Chapter 7 is transfer or assignment of copyright. Under naman ito is section 180 hanggang 183, which are the rights of assignee, copyright and material object, feeling of assignment or license, and designation of society.
So, dito tayo sa may chapter 6, yung ownership of copyright, sa section 178, rules on copyright ownership. So, meron tayong general rule na by default, the copyright belongs to the creator or authors of the work whether it's book, painting, song, or digital content. So, kung ikaw yung gumawa ng isang work, masasabi mong sa'yo yung bagay na yun, ikaw yung may-ari. So, meron tayong works created under employment. So, kung nagtatrabaho ka, tapos yung employer mo, example natin is yung sa office works, yung mga ginagawa mo dun is pagmamay-ari ng employer kahit ikaw yung gumawa kasi employee ka lang. Pero depende na lang yun sa pag-uusap. Tapos meron tayong commissioned works. So, if someone pays or hires a person to create works like logo or video, so the creator still owns the copyright unless a written contract says it's transferred to the client. So, paano masasabi kapagka sa'yo na yung pinagawa mo? So, kapagka nabayaran mo na, nandun na yung pag-uusap na dahil nabili mo na, pagmamay-ari mo na yung pinagawa mo sa kanya. So, meron tayong audiovisual works na for things like movies or TV shows. The producer, director, scriptwriter, or composer all share the copyright. So, hindi porket ikaw yung director, sa'yo na yung dinirect mo kasi hindi naman mabubuo yung isang bagay kung hindi dahil sa tulong ng iba mong kasama. So, meron pa tayong anonymous or pseudonymous works. If it's a work is published without the author's name, the person who makes it public is presumed to be the copyright owner. So, katulad nga ng sa may Facebook, maraming memes doon na marami nagse-share, di mo na alam kung kanino talaga nanggaling. So, ang mga nilalagay nila doon is yung CTTO, which is the credit to the owner, yung ibig sabihin. So, para maiwasan yung copyright, naglalagay sila ng ganon kasi masyado nang malawak yung Facebook. So, next slide. So, Chapter 8, Limitation on Copyright. Section 184, Limitation on Copyright. Section 185, Fair Use of a Copyright Work. So, ito yung dalawang napili namin dito sa may Chapter 8. Pero meron pa tayong Section 186, Work of Architecture. Section 187, Reproduction of Published Works. 188, Reprographic Reproduction by Libraries. Section 189, Reproduction of Computer Program, and 190, Importation for Personal Purposes. So, next slide. So, dito sa may Section 184, meron tayong dalawang i-discuss, yung specific limitation nila tsaka yung condition on limitations. So, these are certain situations where copyright does not apply. So, for performance or display for religious or charitable purposes, like sa mga kanta ng mga sa simbahan, yung mga ganyan, hindi sila pwedeng makasuhan ng copyright kasi wala naman silang nagiging profit sa paggamit ng kanta na yon. So, for good intention lang para sa, yun nga, religious something ganyan. So, meron pa tayong reproduction by libraries or archives. Libraries and archives can make copies of work for preservation, restoration, or research purposes, especially when the original is fragile or rare. So, kapag ang isang bagay kinapi mo, na yung dahilan mo lang is yung bagay na yun sabihin nating sobrang rare, gusto mo lang magkaroon ng mag-preserve kasi nga kunyari ilan lang, limited lang siya, ganyan, magpe-preserve ka lang. Then, meron din tayong restoration. Yun nga, preserve mo siya sa pamamagitan ng pagre-restore. So, pwede yung ganun. Sumunod natin is yung used in legislative, judicial, or administrative proceedings. So, this means that copyrighted content can be quoted or used in legal government purposes such in court trials or congressional hearings. So yung example nito is yung kapag nasa court kayo, yung meron kang proof or evidence laban sa kalaban nyo, hindi mo naman, na galing sa kanila talaga, hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin na pwede ko ba to ilabas? Hindi, kasi isa siyang ebidensya para sa yung kumbaga truth, yun yung pinanghawakan mo truth. So, pwede siya gamitin sa mga gano'n, sa government or courts. Next, yung public recitation or performance for educational purposes. So, mga profs natin, tayong mga students, kapag ginagamit natin siya for educational use is wala tayong matanggap na copyright na kaso. As long as hindi naman tayo nagge-gain dun ng profit, basta for educational use lang is pwede natin siyang magamit. Second is yung condition on limitations. So even though there are allowed uses, there are still rules to follow to make sure these exceptions are fair. So una dyan is yung the use must not conflict with the normal exploitation of the work. So this means you can't use it in way that competes with the or replace the original market of the work. So example natin is yung sa pinaliwanag kanina ni Iza na yung sa may kanta ni Shaira na ginaya daw yung melody, which is totoo naman. So ayun, papasok dito yung dalawang sumunod sa baba na na-settle nila yung problem, which is ano na lang, kinredit na lang yung original owner ng melody o nung kanta para ma-settle nila ng maayos at nandun pa rin yung kanta na sumikat, which is yung Selos. It should not cause unjustified harm to the copyright owner. So ayun, natalbogan siya. So kinasuhan niya yung isa, then nag-settle sila na naandun na yung pangalan niya, yung na-credit na pa rin yung name niya dun sa may kanta na mas sumikat. Okay na sila. So proper attribution must be given when required. Even if you are allowed to use the content, you should still credit the author or creator when possible. So next slide.
So, chapter 8 pa rin tayo, section 185, which is fair use of copyrighted work. So, what is fair use? It allows limited use of copyrighted material without permission. So, what are the permitted purposes? Ito yung mga halimbawa. Criticism, news reporting, teaching, and research. Important notes nito is unpublished works can still be subject to fair use analysis, and the compilation of computer programs for interoperability may qualify. So, sa madaling salita lang, ang fair use, meron pa ring limit sa eksklusibong karapatan ng may-ari ng copyright. Which means, kahit anong gawin ng isang may-ari, kahit na pwede siyang gamitin as long as may limit siya. And kaya naka-highlight dito yung teaching is because magandang halimbawa to sa paggamit ng fair use because mostly sa pag-aaral natin, kumukuha tayo ng mga quotes para sa reports natin and ang pag-quote ng maikling bahagi ng isang libro, isang review, pwede gamitin as long as fair yung paggamit natin. So next natin is chapter 9, which is deposit and notice. Section 191 and section 192, which are the registration and deposit with National Library and the Supreme Court Library, and notice of copyright. Chapter 10 natin is moral rights. Under dito yung scope of moral rights, breach of contract, tapos ang isa sa na-highlight namin is waiver of moral rights and contribution to collective work. So ano nga ba ang section 195, which is moral rights? So moral rights are rights that separate from economic rights and focus on the author's personal connection to their work. So what are the key moral rights? Ito yung halimbawa, yung right of attribution, right of integrity, and right to object to other actions. And important notes, moral rights are independent of economic rights. Even if an author sells the economic rights of their work, they retain their moral rights. Moral rights are intended to protect the author's reputation. So, sa madaling salita ulit, alam naman natin kung ano yung pagiging moral. And kaya naging isa to sa part ng copyrights because kahit sabihin natin fair yung paggamit natin, kung hindi naman moral yung paggamit, maaaring ma-copyright pa rin tayo. Kaya isang halimbawa dito, kung yung isang pelikula binago sa paraang bumuluktot sa original na intention ng director, at nakakasira sa kanyang reputasyon, maaaring gamitin ng direktor ang kanyang right of integrity, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina. Kung isang eskultura ay pininturahan sa paraang nakakasira sa orihinal na anyo nito at sa reputasyon ng eskultor, maaari siyang magreklamo. So yun lang yun. As long as yung ginagawa natin is moral, pwede pa rin tayo manghiram ng bagay na sa pinanggalingan natin.
So, nakapaloob pa rin dito sa may chapter 10, yung section 197, 198, and 199, which are editing, arranging, and adaptation of work, term of moral rights, enforcement remedies. Sa may chapter 10, nandito yung right to proceeds to in subsequent transfer na may dalawang section na 200 at 201. Sale or lease of work not covered. Then yung chapter 12 natin, rights of performers, producers of sound recordings and broadcasting organizations. Meron tayong section 202, definitions. Then next slide. Meron pang section 203 hanggang 207 na scope of performers' rights, moral rights of performers, limitation on rights, additional remuneration for subsequent communication or broadcast, and contract terms. Chapter 13, producers of sound recordings, na may section 208, scope of rights, and communication to the public, section 209. Section 210, limitation of rights. Chapter 14, broadcasting organizations, na may section 211, scope of rights. Chapter 15, limitation on protection. Section 212, limitation on rights. Chapter 16, term of protection, na may section 213, term of protection. Section 214, calculation of terms, and 215, term of protection for performers, producers, and broadcasting organizations. So, sa chapter 17, nakapili kami ng isa, which is yung section 217 na criminal penalties. Pero meron pa tayong section 216, remedies for infringement. 218 na affidavit evidence. 219, presumption of authorship. 220 na international registration of works. Chapter 18, scope of application. Section 221, points of attachment for works under section 172 and 173. Section 222, points of attachment for performer. So, discuss natin yung section 217. So, chapter 17, infringement, section 217, criminal penalties. Meron tayong yung una, yung acts punishable under the section. Let's start with the law considers a criminal offense. A person can be held criminally liable if they infringe on any rights protected by copyright, such as unauthorized reproduction, katulad nga ng pag-cover ng mga kanta, tapos gamit mo pa rin melodies nila. So, illegal distribution, public display, or performance of copyright work, making derivative works without permission. So, yung meron pa tayong aid and abet, someone in committing copyright infringement. So, meaning, kahit na gusto mo lang tumulong sa isang tao, pwede ka pa rin maparusahan. So, kahit good intention, sabihin mong tinulungan ko lang siya, hindi yun valid kasi lumabag ka sa isang rules o yung section 217. Second, yung penalties for copyright infringement. Ano nga ba yung mga kabayaran kapag nakasuhan ka ng copyright? So, if a person is found guilty in infringement, they may face, so una, imprisonment, pagkakakulong. So, pwedeng tumagal ng 1 taon hanggang 9 na taon yung pagkakakulong. Depende sa nagawa mong kasalanan kung gaano kabigat yung ginawa mo. So, fines. So, umaabot sa 50,000 to 1.5 million pesos. So, ganun din kung gaano kalala yung kaso mo, mas pwede pang lumaki yung fines na babayaran mo. So, hindi lang siya basta-basta minor violation. So, seryoso siyang criminal act. Tapos, meron pa tayong aggravating circumstances, yung number 3. So the law also considers situations that can increase the punishment. So if the infringement involves at least 10 copies or digital works worth over 50,000 pesos, the penalties may be increased. So repeat offenders, mas malaki yung magiging stricto sila sa may mga offenders na paulit-ulit nga, repeated. So kung gaano karami yun, kung first offense, second, mas pwede pang lumala yung penalties na pwedeng ibigay sa kanya. So, next slide. So meron pa tayo sa may chapter 18 na section 223 and 224 na points of attachment for sound recordings, points of attachment for broadcast. So chapter 19, institution of actions. Section 225 and 226, jurisdiction and damages. So chapter 20, miscellaneous provisions. Section 227, 228 and 229. Ownership of deposit and instruments, public records and copyright division fees.
Last part natin, yung part 5, last part ng RA 8293 ay yung final provisions. Next. So dito, pumili lang din ulit kami ng mga sections na sa tingin namin na importante. At ito yung section 231 or yung reverse reciprocity of foreign laws. Section 234, abolition of the Bureau of Patents, Trademarks, and Technology Transfer. Section 236, preservation of existing rights. Section 239, repeals. And Section 241, effectivity. So, dun muna natin discuss natin yung Section 231. Next slide, please. Ang sinasabi lang naman dito sa... Next slide, please. Ayan. Ang sinasabi lang naman dito... Dito sa Section 231 ay any condition, restriction, limitation, diminution, requirement, penalty, or any similar burden imposed by the law of a foreign country or on a Philippine national seeking protection of intellectual property rights in that country shall reciprocally be enforceable upon nationals of said country within Philippine jurisdiction. So, kunyari, isang Pilipino nang hingi ng or nag-apply ng intellectual property rights sa ibang bansa. So, a specific country. Tapos, meron sila doon parang condition or restriction, limitation daw na parang hindi pinapayagan yung Pilipino na mag-apply nga doon sa intellectual property rights. Siyempre, ang gagawin ng, sabi dito sa section na to, ang gagawin ng Pilipinas, kapag may isang national sa bansa na yon na nanghingi naman ng intellectual property or nag-apply ng intellectual property rights dito sa bansa natin, sa Pilipinas, hindi rin nila papayagan. Kasi tayo ng mga Pilipino, hindi pinayagan doon sa bansa na magkaroon ng protection at sa intellectual property rights, but sila papayagan natin dito. Sabi, shall reciprocally be enforceable upon nationals of said country. So, palitan lang, balik-balik lang. Next section naman, Section 234, abolition of the Bureau of Patents, Trademarks, and Technology Transfer. Di ba kung naalala nyo kanina, yung marami ng Philippine laws about intellectual property. Pero, dahil may enforce na tong batas na to, ma-abolish na sila. Di ba may mga Bureau of Patents, Trademarks, and Technology Transfer under Department of Trade and Industry. Pag na-establish or pag na sa batas na tong code na to, ma-abolish na sila. Pero, sabi dito, personnel not absorbed or transferred to the office shall enjoy the retirement benefits granted under existing law. So, meron pa na naman bibigay sa kanila. Yung mga naepektuhan ng pag-abolish ng mga bureau na yun. So, next section. Section 236, preservation of existing rights. So yun, 'di ba, may batas na kanina, patent law, trademark law. So meron ng mga nag-apply doon at naaprubahan ng mga na maproteksyonan ng intellectual property rights. So pagka in-enforce tong batas na 'to, meron pa rin naman, may rights pa rin naman sila. Hindi na kailangan apply ulit kasi effective pa naman yung rights nila sa nung mga nakaraang batas. So yun. Next. Next section, 239, repeals. All acts and parts of acts inconsistent herewith, more particularly, Republic Act number 165, 166, Articles 188 and 189 of the Revised Penal Code, Presidential Decree number 49, including PD number 285 are hereby repealed. Ibig sabihin, officially ended or canceled. Kasi nga, meron na tayong bagong susunding batas, itong RA 8293. So, yung mga nakaraang batas na yan, yung mga nabanggit, repealed na sila. Pa-cancel na. So, last section, section 241, effectivity. Itong RA 8293 ay naaprubahan noong June 6, 1997. Pero nag-take effect lang siya noong January 1, 1998. So, yun lang naman yung sa RA 8293 or the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines na sinusunod natin ngayon. So, yun. Thank you very much for listening.